Hello, worldly crazy people out there. My name is Michael. I like wizards and dragons and making games, and we are once again making games in GameMaker in 3D involving wizards. In the last couple episodes of this, I worked on creating spell objects that you can cast and that you can, target objects which can respond to spells with. And there's a couple of rules on that. You can only target objects which are programmed to be allowed to respond to spells. You can't target any old object in the world. There is a range limit on how far away you can target something, which, to be honest, still feels like it's a little bit on the far side. It still feels like I can target things that are really far away, and I should probably dial back that range a little more. But I'll work on the numbers as we progress. Anyway, today I'm going to do something with spells, and I've been going back and forth on whether or not I want to actually implement a specific spell that does a specific, verb in the game world, or if I want to continue working on refining things a little bit. Let's see, with regards to that, there's one card that I believe I checked off last time that I, forgot to actually do. And there's also a few just, chores, creating spell visuals I haven't done yet. Maybe I should. There's a couple. I've renamed, by the way, the bug deck on this Codex boards to bugs, maintenance, and other technical debt. So not just bugs, but other things that I should generally do eventually. And there's a couple convenience matters that I mentioned doing last time that I didn't do that I kind of feel like I should do sooner rather than later. So I'm actually leaning towards putting off creating an actual push spell until next time, and today I'll do some of the chores. I want to actually implement interesting spells that do interesting things, but I also want to spend less time in the future doing, oh, this would have been easier if I just done this earlier. The nature of technical debt, the longer you let it pile up, the worse it gets. Let's see, so there's a few. The player's camera target is used for a few things. One, obviously, for aiming the camera at when you move the camera. And as well as that's the point of origin for spells that you cast. And being able to translate basically the attach point on the player's model, which serves as the camera target, into actual world space. Would be pretty nice. There's a couple places where I'm doing that manually. It's not too many lines of code, but it's no fun to have to repeat code like that. So I think instead I'm going to take those and turn that into a method. And that'll account for the player's position, the player's rotation direction. We can multiply that by we can multiply the player's world matrix by the vector 3 of the camera target, and we can return it was the other way around. We can return a vector 3 struct with those values. Matrix transform vertex is a GameMaker function that will return an array of 3 values. I would prefer that to be in one of my own vectors. And now I can turn that into a single function call, xyz, and we no longer have to worry about that. So, don't repeat yourself, abstraction, all those fun computer science words. And where's the other place where I use that? I think in casting spells is the other place where I use that, right? Down here. Yeah, alright. I guess I'll call it in this context wand target, because that's really what it is. And when we are turning that into a vector 3 for the purpose of the raycast, I don't need to unpack it like that anymore. And I believe also when you actually cast down here. Okay, so I can get rid of this, and I can simply say wand target XYZ. Like that. Feather is turned on, by the way. I messing around with my GameMaker preferences a little, and I turned Feather on, and it's clearly not super feeling good right now. We've got all these yellow lines all over the place. I think I'm going to go and turn that back off for now. So Feather, you can go lie down for a bit. Anyway, that shouldn't have really changed anything about the way the game behaves, but it will make my code a little bit cleaner. If I run the game now, that should everything should work as it did before. And it is not working the way it did before. That's exciting. What am I not doing? Oh, that's a typo. All right, camera target XYY. I've been known to do that once in a while, and that is why you run your code before committing changes on source control. All right, now it looks good. We can cast spells at the block that's basically on fire. I will make that prettier later. Anyway, another thing that was on that technical debt list is where did I put it? I think in the game state. I should probably also organize the asset browser a little bit. So right now the persistent game state data is just a struct with some values in it. It doesn't have any methods. I would like to create a little bit of object-orientedness here, so that instead of having to check and manually mess with the known spells array or whatever, I can just access a couple methods of the game state, and that should just be a lot more convenient than manually noodling around in the known spells array. So for example, array GameMaker has an array contains. Did I write that myself, or is that... Alright, that's one of GameMaker's new array functions. A lot of these new array functions were added a while ago, and I'm still kind of getting used to which ones are now available by default without me having to write it myself. Anyway, known spells, the value that we're looking for is spell. So if the spell that you're searching for is contained in that array, that means you know it. Add spell. So if you don't already know a spell, then we can simply array push. Don't add duplicates. Remove spell. If you do already know the spell, we can array delete the array's known spells. The index is array get index. And the number is just going to be 1. Just remove the one element. What exactly are you complaining about? Oh, variable spell only referenced once. Yeah, my GameMaker install got messed up, and I had to reset a bunch of things, and... So, the point of all that is that instead of having to do stuff like this big dumb expression, we can just say if game state.knows spell. What was it? Alright, object.spell response. That was a loud clap of thunder coming from outside. I hope the power doesn't go out when I'm doing this. And now we can do some fancy things such as Like, if you start off not knowing any spells, then I shouldn't be able to target that one block. And then if I say gamestate.add spell, alright, can't cast a spell on that. Hooray. That needs to be gamestate with capital S. Now I can. And this is really the beginnings of, like, an in-game, like, game scripting system. Nice, clean interface that I can use to control the state of the game. And we'll be doing similar things with other player values later on. Let's see. So I can mark that as done. I can mark that as done. The thing that I also should at least mention that I did make a few more changes to the 3D collision system. I added some optimizations that I didn't add last time. I fixed a few bugs that I found along the way. I don't think there was anything that really would affect the state of the game. I think it was mostly stuff to do with like transform models and other things that I don't really use that much, but I just thought I would call attention to that. Another thing I did do is add a few config values. Again, not really related to this game here, but just something I thought might be interesting. All right. So at the very least, I would like to create like a spell. Let's say I create a sprite. All right, green circle with an X in it. That'll do for now. Let's set the origin in the middle center. When the player aims their wand at something, and if a potential spell target is identified, then I'd like the potential spell target to be drawn on the screen, like in the world. I have some thoughts about how exactly I will be drawing that. If I can minimize some of these. Perhaps I can start out by saying self dot give the player a little variable that's like let's just call it spell symbol, and this can just be a little struct which may or may not contain some information about the spell you want to cast. What is it? Potential spell target is not undefined. The players, or you know what? Nah. I was gonna say just get rid of the potential spell target variable here and use that, but you know what? No. We can assign a little bit of struct information here. Let's say the object can be that target, and the XYZ where you're waving your wand can be the ray hit info dot point. And when it comes to where things are drawn in the world, so with obj underscore entity event perform draw, that's going to be where most things are drawn. Then there's like draw the spell object. Then there's like draw the are spell objects derived from entities? Oh, you know what? I think they are, but they aren't. All right. That's not going to matter because instead of just drawing like a sprite or a model for spells, they're just going to draw particles, which is going to be part of the particle system. So, for example, here, what was it? Spell symbol. I do have a, do I have a draw sprite billboard? I remember doing that a while ago. So I can say draw sprite billboard. The spell target is going to be the spell symbol Object.spell response. The subimage can just be 0. The X can be, hang on. Let's shorten that variable name a little. I said one thing and typed another. So draw that sprite billboarded, and then reset it once it's finished being drawn. So, oh, you know what? Hang on, that won't work. Hang on, that probably, I'm curious if this will just crash the game or if it'll make some weird behavior happen. All right, so we do have that. That's awkward and kind of stupid. We do have that like weird smiley face thing. So that's I didn't know what sprite to draw, so it kind of just it drew the weird one. All right. I'll come back to making sure that each spell knows what symbol should go with it later, but for now we'll just draw that symbol. I also want GPU set Z test enable to false, GPU set Z right enable to false. These spell symbols are just going to be like phantoms in the world. They're not going to set the depth buffer. They're not going to do anything with the depth buffer when they're drawn. All right, so now if I so much as aim at you, all right, so that's working as intended. If I so much as aim at you, we've got the symbol there. It's just a sprite that's being billboarded towards us, and that like you can see some fun things like the player being drawn in front of it. I don't know if I like that, but I don't know if it's worth me really messing with that right now. Maybe though I should draw them over the particles. Let's draw that sprite over the particles. Anyway, another thing I should do is you only do this if you are actually like waving your wand, like that. That was the intended way for this to work in the first place. So we can now look at this thing. If we click, it'll show that symbol. I also remember I implemented some kind of a ripple effect shader a while ago, and I'd like to incorporate that here. Once again, if I were to do the whole referring to my source material thing, if I were to wave my wand at that, it's not just drawing the symbol, it's drawing the symbol with basically a ripple effect on it. This game predates the programmable graphics pipeline, so I forget exactly how this is implemented in like the old Unreal 1 games, but also if I stand in front of the spell symbol, Harry likes to Harry's actually drawn behind it, and that probably looks better than what I have right now. But anyway, you'll notice that the ripple is what I wanted to get at here. So I've got shader gbuff billboard ripple. Do I? Can I just okay, I can specify the shader. How did I do this? All right, so the control space like code completion suggestions are just completely broken right now. Am I going to have to set any special? All right, so I'm going to want to set the displacement map and also a time variable. All right, that's actually like already being done. Okay, I did that in my my billboard thing, so I don't have to do anything else there. you can tell, it's been a little while since I touched that particular bit of code. So we've got, the ripple is very... Oops, nope, don't do that. The ripple is very slight. Someone in the comments a little while ago mentioned that, like, I'm doing deferred rendering mostly because I can, and because I want to, and not because there's anything that I particularly think would benefit from that in this game. And someone in the comments mentioned a little while ago that, like, the edges around objects get a little weird because of the way that I'm like working out the world space normals and stuff. And I am unfortunately getting closer and closer to thinking about just ditching that and using a forward renderer like a normal person.
Hey.
If this becomes like an awkward bit of trouble, I'll probably have to do that. Alright, anyway. How do I modulate this? If I shrink the number that the offset is multiplied by, that should make the ripples a little more dramatic, right? Alright, it's a little more dramatic. And I can also increase the time property. Alright, that's definitely more ripply. We've got I'm gonna say we've got an effect that like looks more like water, the way that it does in the source material. I probably should set this to play around with my texture management. Let me create a new texture group for spells. Okay, no spaces allowed in texture group names. And can I add asset? No, fine. Do this the long way. Spell symbols. I'm going to disable the automatically crop setting there, so that empty space around the parts is not trimmed and you don't see bits of the symbol being cut off. You can also just set it to its own texture group or whatever, but this is fine. All right, so we don't have the effect being like cut off awkwardly at the top and bottom. That's fine. I should really parameterize this this factor here with a uniform of some sort. But I think that's going to be good. Let's make it a little more dramatic. And after that, we've got spell symbols appearing when you wave your wand, or what will be your wand whenever I get around to doing that. So another quality of life thing with regards to casting spells is that I feel like if you aim your cursor, if you aim your wand or whatever a little bit off from the object that you can cast at, it would be nice if you could hit it anyway. And there's going to be a lot of changes here, aren't there? Not really. Oh, you know what I should do before I commit that? Because I don't like having code like this just like freely floating around. Or draw spell symbol. So we can give the player a draw spell symbol method. That can basically be the code that I just wrote here. Okay. We can use self where appropriate. I think that's it. So, alright, I've tested that, make sure that nothing broke unexpectedly. I've committed that change. And the other thing I wanted to do is, let's say that this test block here, if you wave your wand at the test block, and if you like are off of where you can target slightly, then your ability to target it just goes away. And I feel like it would be nice if there's a small amount of tolerance around the object that you could still aim at and still have it have the game register that you're casting at it. So let me add another helper collision shape. We can call this something like pound spell target. And in the box's case, I'm going to need to define a box around this, and if I make it a little bit bigger than the size of the actual box, I think I should be able to attach this collision information to it, and then, all right, hang on. First, we're gonna actually export that to the game files. If I go into the what was it, solid entity, something like that. If I go into the code where the collision objects are attached, 3D object, that's what it was. I can search for some special objects, so climb targets, camera targets, that kind of thing, and one of them I can make spell target. And if I define another collision group here, the shape mask, I think, is what I'm going to want. Spell target. That should allow like that collision shape to be passable by the player, but we should be able to include it in our raycast when we wave our wand, and we should be able to identify it. So first, let me draw. Let me like get real close. All right. So am I not able to get that close? Do I have to change something in player movement if I want to be able to get that close to something I can cast at? Oh, you know what? I'm dumb. The reason that the player model doesn't appear to be getting up close to that box completely is because the player's collision shape is a sphere, which is a little bit wider around the middle than the like ellipsoid that is the player's actual model. All right, never mind. Anyway, if I were to target that, go into the player's handle casting code, and I can do my raycast here, and instead of always using like the collision mask stock default, I can combine that with the logical OR with dot spell target, and that should allow me to target this thing from, even if I'm not perfectly, yeah, you can see my mouse is slightly off the side of that. I can still target it. All right, that's fine. So I guess one last thing on this subject. I mentioned at the end of the last video that there was something that I checked off without meaning to, without actually doing it, and that was that I wanted to basically create another collision shape on these objects, which would be the position where the spell symbol would appear. But honestly, I like how it is now. I don't want the spell symbol to always be drawn at the same point on an object. That'll get especially complicated for things like a block that you could push in different directions. So I think I'll actually just not be doing that. But in the meantime, we do have the ability to target these things. And also, this should allow me to, like, kind of apparently target, or at least it should make it easier to kind of apparently target objects from, like, around corners. Not that I'm gonna really try to make this like a cover shooter or anything, but apparently, am I too far away? If I'm standing, oh, come on, collision is messed up in different ways. It shouldn't be. Oh, is that the width of the player again, just throwing me off? Yeah, if I'm standing like behind here, I should be able to like barely target that thing, which I think is interesting. All right, and I almost, well, I did forget to do this before ending the video, so I'm just going to, real quick, work this out now. So, at the moment, I am hard coding, drawing SPR spell symbol, when we're drawing the symbol, and that is, well, I don't like hard coding stuff like that. I would much rather be able to take a spell. I would much rather be able to define... Excuse you. Alright, don't do that. Define a sprite for each spell type object that we can set. So if I create a variable definition here, let's make that a asset type, and if I drag SPR spell symbol over there, we will have a variable definition for the sprite that represents each spell. And if I were to just say, like, draw a sprite billboarded info.obj.spell.spellresponse. Like, symbol or something, like this, then this will not work. We're gonna get some kind of a, like, null reference related error. And, yeah, there we go. Unable to find instance for object index 6. That's not really what we want to happen. So instead, we're gonna need to actually have an instance of a spell if we want to be able to read that property from it. And unfortunately, well, I guess we can do this. There's nothing stopping us from doing this. We can say, like, inst equals create an instance of the spell in question. Var symbol is going to equal inst.symbol, and then immediately instance destroy that, and then we can just draw the symbol. You could also create like an associative array, DS map struct, whatever, dictionary, that associates a spell type with a sprite. I think, since this shouldn't do anything on its own, there shouldn't be any effects of creating a spell like this on its own. I guess I could even like instantly set its lifespan to 0 so that it instantly just like goes away. Excuse you? Anyway, this will instantiate a one of the spells, and that will allow us to read the property from it. And let's see, hard coding that. Info not set before reading it. What is that? Oh, that's because I hate it when I do stuff like that. Anyway, if I were to wave my wand cursor thing at that block, we now have the symbol. We are no longer hard coding it. If you wanted to, you could cache this for now. Something like only doing this once. Our symbol equals that. Cache equals that, and this will ensure that like this will only happen the first time you try targeting something with a particular spell. That's fine, I think. That will create the basically the associative array that I mentioned a minute ago, and it shouldn't have any knock-on effects. If you don't like just instantiating instances and deleting them like that, then this might be the preferable way to do it. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for this video. My name is Michael. I like Wizards and Dragons and making games. If you want the code for this, look for the GitHub repository down in the video description. The 0.23 release, the week 23 release, should be the state of the project as of wherever it is as of my recording this. I try to post about 2 game dev videos a week, so if you're interested in the weird 3D things that you can do in GameMaker, feel free to subscribe. I have a Patreon, so if you want to contribute to the channel, links to that can be found in all the usual places. Otherwise, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you all later. Also, before I go, I haven't really been doing this much recently, but let's see how the project management board looks. Yeah, Codecks thinks since I took that hiatus that I'll be averaging 0.1 effort points per week, which seems a little on the low side. I don't know how I suggest that it should be a little more than that. Maybe more like 5 or 6. Yeah, instead of finishing in 170 years, I think 2025 is definitely when I want to attempt to be done with this thing as a whole. What's the next milestone coming up? Game stay. I'm still a little behind on that, but we'll see how quickly I can catch up. I will see you all later. Special thanks to Army Armbuster, DJ Gibbles, Edward Holt, GameMaker, Gamer Player, John Luigi Celentano, Manta Ray, Syndra Larson, Squarecrow, Vitro V, and Zenjament for supporting these videos. If you want to contribute to the channel, head on over to the Patreon page down in the video description to join the fun.